Mr. Secretary, thank you for joining us today. It's nice to meet you. I'm Lori Chavez-DeRemer, representing Oregon's 5th District.
Good to meet you.
From some of the testimony I've heard today, I know we're not going to agree on everything, but from a lot of what you said, it encourages me to want to build a working relationship with you in this role. Because I think at the end of the day, we're going to share the same goals, setting up our nation's kids for success. In Oregon, high schools are no longer required to demonstrate that each of their kids are graduating with the ability to read and write at their grade level. That doesn't set our kids up for success. If they can't read at a high school level, how are they supposed to understand their rights as workers or compare job offers? If they can't write at a high school level, how can we expect them to negotiate pay or apply for new jobs? So, Mr. Secretary, what happens when kids graduate high school without being able to read or write at a level needed for navigating their professional life?
Thank you for the question, Congresswoman. Great to meet you, and I look forward to working with you as well. You're absolutely right. If basic literacy is not met, if math functioning is not met, we could talk about pathways all we want, but our students are not going to be able to take those careers and go on to college. So basic literacy and numeracy is critical for students to be successful.
So following up to that, is it serving our kids, whether they're from Oregon or any state, to bring their high schools down to standards where students don't need to graduate with these basic necessary skills?
Yeah. Well, while I can't speak specifically to what was done in your state, I'd be happy to have conversation with you about that at another time. I will say that what we need to be doing, and which is why we called it Raise the Bar, we need to be raising the bar. The performance of our students was made worse by the pandemic, but it was nothing to brag about before the pandemic. We believe our students should be leading the world, and our plan to raise the bar includes rigor in academics, high standards, ensuring that students have good, well-rounded, comprehensive educations so they can choose to go on to 2-year school, 4-year school, or join the workforce. They have options.
Kids avoid these situations irrespective of their state's policies. When teachers and parents have great and communicative relationships, both parties working together is in the best interest of the student, I believe. Mr. Secretary, would you agree that in parent-teacher relationships, teachers should provide deference to the parents?
I do believe that teachers and parents should be working very closely together, and it should be a proactive relationship, not just when there are issues. There should be times where teachers can get to know the parents. The more you know the parents, the more you know how to help the child.
Should parents have the ability to provide teachers with direct feedback about what they're teaching?
Yeah, I believe those processes do exist where there's ongoing communication, and if there are concerns or, I mean, in the past, I've had parents ask me if it's possible to share a little bit of, reading materials on a particular topic that was of interest to the student to help re-engage the student in a better way. So I do believe that that's something that should happen.
That makes sense to me. If a child's being bullied or has a drastic change in behavior, should teachers be transparent with parents about what they are observing at school?
Through ongoing communication, that should be existing already, yes.
Also in your testimony, you mentioned that high schools need to set up students for success in pursuing a college diploma or technical and career. I mean, I think, and I would agree with you 100%, you're hitting the nail on the head for sure. But as you know, a lot of students would want to pursue technical and career, can't use the Pell Grants to cover short-term programs, which prepare them for the necessary skills to thrive in technical and career. I know it is mentioned in your budget, but are you supportive of increasing Pell Grant eligibility to those short-term programs?
Yeah, I've frequently said that if we're asking our schools and districts to evolve, we need to evolve also. And I'm interested in looking at ways to expand it to short-term Pell with increased accountability to make sure that the students are getting a benefit from it. But I am open to that, yes.
And my final question, is this an area that you will commit to working with the committee on then?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, I look forward to working with you. I appreciate you being here today. And with that, Madam Chairwoman, I yield back my time.